Man that everybody loves. He was my doctor in the White House, and I got to know him very well. He was also the doctor for Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And he was a doctor for a man named Bush. And at a press conference, they asked him, who's in the best shape? Who's the healthiest? Who's the strongest? Who's the best physical specimen of the three? He said, that's easy. President Donald Trump. And I said, I love this guy.
Trump and his administration seem angry at everything, everywhere, all at once.
Mm-hmm.
How do they keep that rage so fresh?
You don't know how hard it is to be a billionaire president. I've said this numerous times. Poor little billionaire president. To be that powerful and that rich, you don't understand the burdens, the difficulties. It's troublesome. It makes me angry for him.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Jon Stewart nails it here. He strips away the myth and shows exactly what Trump is, a pampered, overgrown rich kid, still pitching tantrums because reality never once made him clean up his own mess.
I mean, I just keep thinking, like, has anybody told them that they won?
Not enough!
Like, it's exhausting.
It's not enough. It goes down. It's Conan the Barbarian. I will hear the lamentations of their women. I will drive them into the sea. Like, it's bonkers.
It's all of them, though.
Someone has to tell him that all that anger is also bad for his health, and we're all seeing the health.
He's the healthiest person ever to. He's the healthiest person to ever assume the office of the presidency. So I wouldn't worry about that. But
says who?
His doctor, that Ronnie Jackson.
Think about it. What would it even be like to grow up like a spoiled little Richie Rich, like Donald friggin' Trump? The guy grew up having his ass wiped for him. He rode to school in the back of a Rolls Royce, while the rest of us were freezing at the bus stop. He never had to eat day-old peanut butter sandwiches, never had holes in his shoes, never had to worry about the lights getting shut off or the rent coming due. Food insecurity? Please. This man's only ever gone hungry waiting for the waiter to bring more ketchup for his steak. He never got grounded, never got told no, never faced a real consequence in his entire life. Just a spoiled little stinking brat who somehow managed to turn into a full-grown, narcissistic, evil man. And we're all supposed to give him credit for that. Hell no.
But it has created a new category called sore winners. You don't see it a lot, but every now and again.
Think about this. Why are they still so pissed off and angry? Why are they so full of conspiracy theories, still trying to convince everybody 10 months after the damn election that they're the victims? Has anybody ever set them down with these morons and told them that they actually won? It's like, hey, buddy, calm down. The war's over. You won. You can stop screaming now. But instead, they're still walking around with this massive chip on their shoulder, shouting, we got a mandate. Everybody wants this, while blaming Joe Biden for everything that's ever gone wrong in their lives, from their mama carrying her cousin to everything else. These toothless redneck morons are still living in squalor on $1,300 a month, mooching off food stamps and government programs, all while flying a 10-foot Trump flag above their busted, rusted, beat-up trailer. That's loyalty, apparently. Loyalty to the con man who'd step over them in a second if their lawn chair didn't have his name on it. Peel back the curtain on their costume, and what you find isn't victory or pride. It's cosplay. These people don't know how to act. It's like they're trapped in a bad Halloween suit, pretending to be human. Strip it off, and what's left is arrogance, stupidity, greed, gluttony, envy, sloth. Every one of the deadly sins stuffed into one bloated carcass of entitlement. And if you want to describe them in a more biblical sense, they're the very picture of Matthew 23:27. Whitewashed tombs, polished on the outside, but inside, nothing but rotten bones and corruption. That's the truth behind their gold-plated sham, their cracked marble, the peeled paint, and the stench underneath that tells the real story. They love Trump, and have you ever noticed how every Donald Trump story eventually becomes a love letter to himself? Every single time. Not too long ago, he's at the Naval Academy giving a speech, rambling like usual, trying to get a rise out of the troops just by saying Barack Hussein Obama. Like what? Does he think he's summoning a demon? Then he drags Melania out there to shout, "Hoo-yah, Navy!" I swear to God, I cringed so hard I nearly slipped a disc. So he starts in on his favorite topic, himself, by way of his doctor, Ronnie Jackson. He starts handing out kudos, bragging that Ronnie once declared him the healthiest president in history. And the crowd sitting there like, sure. Dr. Feelgood, tell us more about the man who thinks Diet Coke counts as a vegetable. You can almost picture it. Ronnie spinning one of those old carnival prize wheels. Who's the healthiest president of all time? Spin, spin, spin. And it's Donald Trump. Congratulations, sir. You win another round of applause and a double cheeseburger. That's exactly how it works in his head. Life's just a game show, and he's the only contestant who ever gets to win. And that's what it always comes back to, this endless looping spectacle of rage and self-worship. Every headline, every rally, every lie is just another verse in the gospel according to Trump. Blessed are the loud, for they shall inherit the camera time. He's the only man on earth who can throw a victory tantrum. A billionaire president who's somehow convinced half of the country that he's the underdog. A man so allergic to humility he needs a doctor note to spell it. The guy's out here collecting sympathy like frequent flyer miles, screaming that the system's rigged while cashing checks from it. And his followers, they're right there behind him, waving their flags over busted trailers and overdue bills, worshiping a man who wouldn't cross the street to save them unless the street was paved in gold leaf. They think they've joined a movement. They've actually joined a multi-level marketing scheme for delusion. Invest your outrage, recruit your friends, and maybe one day you too can be broke, bitter, and owned by a billionaire. This is what happens when grievance becomes a lifestyle brand. It's not politics anymore. It's performance art for the perpetually offended. They've built a cult out of complaining, a megachurch of misery. But here's the thing about sore winners. They never stop losing. When you build your identity on being wronged, you can't survive without an enemy. They need outrage the way sharks need motion. Stop moving, stop hating, and they sink. So they invent new villains, new conspiracies, new reasons to scream. The circus never ends. It just changes scenes. Trump's the ringmaster, standing in the spotlight of his own madness, selling tickets to the apocalypse. He brags about his health while wheezing up a golf cart ramp, shouts about greatness while tripping over reality, and smiles like a man who's never done an honest day's work but can't stop demanding applause for it. The healthiest president in history. Sure, if cholesterol counts as confidence, his workout plan is rage, his diet is validation, and his cardio is running from accountability. He's a man who can't tell the difference between loyalty and servitude, faith and flattery, America and a mirror. And that's where the rest of us come in. We're the ones standing outside the funhouse, watching the reflections twist and warp, shaking our heads while the crowd inside cheers. Because in the end, this isn't just about one man. It's about the sickness that made him possible. A country so addicted to spectacle that it crowned a reality show villain and called it leadership. But here's the cure. Turn off the show. Walk out of the tent. Let the con man play to the empty seats. The grift only works as long as we're buying the tickets. So yeah, Trump's the healthiest president in history. Healthiest in denial, healthiest in delusion, healthiest in self-infatuation. May he live forever in the echo chamber he built, screaming into the void while the rest of us move on, rebuild, and remember what sanity used to sound like. That story, folks, the saga of the sore winners, the rage addicts, and their orange-tinted messiah. The rest of us, we've got better things to do than worship at the altar of idiocy. Time to shut down the circus and let the clowns find new jobs. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.